26 shares of SBI Life for the longer term. Despite posting stellar results, it's underperforming. So she wants to know what should she do with the stock. Vijay, what's your take on SBI Life? What should Vijay do with her holding currently?
I think that all the life insurance companies in the COVID. I think we talked about this stock earlier as well. In the COVID time, I think most of the life insurance companies have paid a lot of a lot of claims to the customers. I think due to that we are seeing a lot of pressure. But I think that now the damage has already happened in the stock, and one needs to have patience. So I would say that keep a stop loss of 1119. And with that stop loss, keep on holding. So there are good chances that SBI Life should come back. And if at all it hits the stop loss, then probably look into some other opportunity. But yes, hold with the stop loss. I don't see much problem from here.
All right. A number of our viewers have pointed out that they've been posting questions for a number of days, and unfortunately they've not been answered. This is understandable, guys, because we get hundreds and hundreds of questions and we do attempt to take as many as possible. Having said that, we are taking a few that have been missed. Coming to you, Ashish, from this is Sudha's question. She says she's a senior citizen, but she's looking for a couple of short-term strategies. Can you recommend a couple of names?
Sure. Since she is a senior citizen, she should be aware that short-term trading can be risky, and she's comfortable with taking that risk. So short-term strategy, I think one of the picks which we can clearly see has been an SBI. We have already talked about how the stock is faring out and how it can continue to outperform from here on as well. So I think long positions can be created in SBI from short-term with a target of 560 and maintain a stop loss of on the downside somewhere around 520 level. So that can be a strategy. Use any dips as a buying opportunity. That's one stock that you can keep a watch on. The next stock that has to be watched is we can clearly see GNFC, Gujarat Narmada Fertilizer Chemicals. There has been a huge move that we are seeing in today's session. So there is a good trending momentum there. So long positions can be created, but maintain a stop loss. Trade with strict stop loss somewhere around 480 levels on the downside, and possibly we can start seeing the stock inching towards the level of 540 on the upside. So these are the top two picks I would suggest her to trade, but maintain the stop loss that we have talked about.
All right, this one is coming from Saumitra Joshi. He wants a technical view on Happiest Minds, and he wants to know of levels of which he can add on to some more positions in this particular counter. What's your take, Ashish? What sort of levels should one look at for Happiest Mind as entry point, and what sort of target one should keep in mind as well?
See, Happiest Mind has shown some kind of a consolidation and correction from the levels of 1500. The good part is he is not in the stock right now, but I think at the current level, he can start adding positions over here, because we can clearly see it has retraced nearly around 38.2%. The support lies around 1050. So at the current levels and dips towards 1050, long positions can be created in Happiest Minds. And on the upside, the target possibly is 1450, provided he is keeping a time horizon of at least 6 months or more. Then 1450 can be the target that he can look forward to.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Satya, and he's asking about HG Infra. Ashish, this one's also for you. I'm just trying to pull up the stock as we speak. It's trading at 641, up about 1.8% at this juncture. He's bought at levels of 650, he says, which is not too far away from the buy price. He's got a view of 6 months, and he's wondering whether 900 is on the cards. Is that too steep a target?
Absolutely, Alex, because always remember, you should not be aiming for something which is overly optimistic. I think 900 is something expecting too much. Had it been about 6 months back or a year back when we were seeing boom across the markets, I would have been optimistic about that. But given the scenario now where we are seeing consolidation phase, and the equity market has already given nearly around 140% return from the low made in March 2020. So there is going to be consolidation. I'm not expecting it to go to 900 straight up from here in just 6 months of time. That's a possibility, but he has to extend his time horizon to at least a year or 1.5 years. Then we can expect that to happen. On the downside, the very important support is at 500, from where the stock bounced back on the upside. So hold on to the stock. I don't see any kind of a issue from holding on to the stock. But let's be realistic and set a first target of somewhere around 740 levels on the upside. let's see, book profits, book some profits there, and then keep riding the trend using a trailing stop loss method. So that would be an ideal way to ride this stock. It's a buy right now.
All right, this one is coming in from Shailaja, and she wants to know whether she can buy Siemens and Godrej Consumer Products at current price for the shorter term. Either Siemens or GCPL, which one do you think, Ashish, that she should look at to buy currently for the short term?
See, if you look at Godrej Consumer, we can clearly see the FMCG space has been under pressure over short term. So the short term, from the short term trading perspective, I think Godrej Consumer might not give the returns that Siemens can possibly give. On one side, we can see infrastructure and capital goods are doing well. So I would prefer Siemens over short term as long as 2,200 is protected for the target of 2,600. Having said that, I'm not saying that Godrej Consumer is not a good pick, but relatively Siemens can outperform over short term. But if the time horizon is for say 6 months to 1 year or more, then possibly even Godrej Consumer Products can be a good bet.
Okay, we've got a special request coming in on YouTube, I believe, from Ami, asking us to pay tribute to Lata Mangeshkar. And I think a lot of us have, over the course of the weekend, in some form or the other, Cheryl, paid tribute to the great singer, the Nightingale of India. And at least in my home, we played music that she has created on loop over the course of the weekend. So I think all of us have a very special place in our hearts for Lataji. And we miss her dearly. Let's take the next question. We've got Santosh Gore, who's asking a question on Allied Digital. This is also a short-term query, so I'll come to you, Ashish, on the charts. How does it look for 1 year?
Digital, if I understand correctly, is quoting somewhere around 126, 127 level. The stock has shown a run up from around 20 to the levels of 170. That's a huge run up. And from 170, we are seeing a short-term correction. So over near term, I think it's in a downtrend. It can go towards the levels of 110, but only a move back above that 140 mark will suggest that it's going to show some kind of a pullback. So I would recommend that if the person is still holding, use 110 as a stop loss. If it manages to cross that 140 level, then possibly we can head towards 160. So let's keep a watch on 140 for short term and keep a stop loss at 110 for existing holdings.
Right, and actually Alex very perfectly said that each of us have actually paid our tribute to Lataji over the weekend, and her loss is significant, and like I said that she will stay on with us not only today but for years to come as well. Let's move on, and this one is from Chetu, and wants to know about Tata Chemicals, saying that the sales and the profit growth of Tata Chemicals over the last few years is not so good, but speculation about their battery manufacturing unit is driving the stock. So wants to know whether she should rely on speculation or look only at the balance sheet, and should she hold or exit Tata Chemicals. What's your take on Tata Chem? Vijay, she's a long-term investor, so wants to know what should she do with this holding in Tata Chemicals. Stay put with it.
Started recommending Tata Chemicals when it was around 400 rupees. And it's not today that they have announced that they're going to have a state-of-the-art battery plant in UK to support JLR, because I think Tatas are a completely backward and forward integrated company. So in that light, I would say that you should, if somebody has it, they should hold on to Tata Chemicals, because a lot of business has been transferred to the portfolio. Say the Tata Salt business, that there has been a rejig in the entire portfolio of the company. So I would say if somebody is a long-term investor, I see Tata Chemicals going to maybe 1,200 and 1,300. So long-term portfolio holders should keep on holding this stock. Somebody is looking for a fresh entry. I think that around 870, 880 would be a sweet spot to get into this company. So wait for a correction to get into this company. I'm a very firm believer that Tata Chemicals is going to do wonders, and they're going to be the major suppliers for batteries in the entire Europe for the car manufacturers. So it's not only JLR they're going to support. They're setting up a plant which would cater to the entire European car manufacturing companies.
Right. All right. The next question is coming in from Vivek. This one's for you, Ashish. Bought escorts at levels of 1,859. And he's concerned, I think, that the stock has stayed in a pretty tight range from November of last year. So he's wondering whether to hold on for the next 1 to 2 years.
See, if I would first suggest that if the time horizon is 1 to 2 years, you should not be bothered much about what's happening in just past 6 months of time, and it especially during the phase when we can see majority of the auto stocks have corrected sharply. So in this kind of a scenario, I would definitely recommend him to continue to hold on to the stock. It has done exceptionally well. There has been a huge rise that we saw, and post that rise, there is obviously some kind of consolidation expected, which we are seeing currently. From 2 years perspective, I am optimistic that that escorts can even touch 2,300 levels on the upside, and as long as 1,700 is protected, so that is the support. It's far away, but that's the support on downside. I think 2,300 can be held. So hold on to the stock for now and expect it to go up even beyond 2,000 very soon.
Right. This one is from KR Balan. Wants to know whether it's good time to buy GMDC and Schneider Electrics at current market price for the short to medium term, saying that Schneider is a multinational company and GMDC has huge reserves. Either GMDC or Schneider Electrics, which one would you advise Mr. Balan to take entry into currently, Ashish?
Is Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation. The stock, I think, is quoting around 134 levels from here, and there has been a huge rise. The stock has run up from 70 to 140, nearly more than 100% return in just what, a few months of time. Not even few months, few weeks, I would say. So entering now would be risky bet, I would suggest, but nevertheless it's an outperformer. So use any dips towards that 125 level as a buying opportunity, then maintain a stop loss around 116, which is around that 10 days moving average. So 116 is a stop. Use 125 as a dips as a buying opportunity for the target of 150 on the upside. As far as Schneider Electric Infrastructure is concerned, I don't think that stock has done anything. It has continued to be moving in a lackluster fashion, overlapping down move, no clear trend. So avoid this stock for now. I would prefer Gujarat GMDC on buying on dip.
Okay, Vijay, next one for you. From the power sector, Tata Power and Torrent Power. These are two names that Thomas George has identified. Torrent Power seems to be correcting sharply from its 52-week high, currently down, I think, if I'm not mistaken, over 4%. Which one would you prefer for the long term?
I think both the stocks have run up considerably, and the stock actually start building up the expectations. And when we saw a sudden spike in Tata Power, which was trading around 120 odd, and from 128 went to 260, 270, that was the time when everybody was expecting that they're going to do big time in EV charging stations, and they have tied up across the highways across the country, and now they are working on it. So I would say that if somebody wants to get fresh into the stock, they should wait for a correction to get into it. 210, 200, 210 would be a good area to enter into Tata Power. But somebody who's holding, I think that if the stock goes above 270, it would be a good time to book profits as well, because markets are choppy. So you should keep your profits on the table, because market would give great opportunities in dips to buy wonderful stocks. So again, both the companies are good. Tata Power I prefer. If at all somebody wants to buy a stock in a correction, Tata Power is my pick in a correction. But right now, no fresh entries. I would recommend exits at around 270.
Okay, this one is from Ramji Rao, and he wants a technical view on Godrej Properties. He's bought about 40 shares at the level of 1550 on Friday, so he wants to know whether he can hold for the longer term. Ashish, Ramji Rao has done exactly what most of them has been advising: buy quality stocks on dips when you get the opportunity, and that's exactly what he's done with Godrej Properties. Do you think a good buy for the longer term, and what sort of targets are you eyeing for Godrej Properties going ahead? How are the charts looking?
Absolutely. I think he has done fantastic, because not stuck at the higher levels like many would have bought around 2,400, but buy on dips and buying at the current support levels. Because if you look at the chart from March to June of last year, we can clearly see this was the range in which it was trading. and now bouncing back exactly from that range. So that's an excellent entry, I would suggest. Hold on, and the time horizon is long term. If you look at the real estate space and the sector, that has done exceptionally well. The entire space has been on an upward, and I think Godrej Properties at this level is a good buy. Hold on, from here on, we can expect a target of somewhere around 2200 eventually, and maybe higher from there. And on the downside, I think 1300 is a very important support, so that should remain intact.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Varghese, who's writing in from Kuwait. This one's for you, Vijay. He's asking about Utama PPL. Do you have coverage? First of all, he's bought at levels of 270 and is corrected, he says, from that point. He's wondering whether to keep holding. It's currently trading at 200.
First of all, Alex, I think I can comment on the Godrej Properties also. Generally, it happens because Godrej Properties has a fairly high FII holding. So, FII generally are very wary of associations with tainted companies. So, although DB Reality has been, hitting the upper circuit since almost a few weeks now, but I think that, this has very seriously been taken by the FII community, and they just exited. So I would also recommend that, somebody, if you can buy Godrej Properties even here, looks very good. Now, coming to Huhtamaki. Huhtamaki is a Japanese company which primarily was known as paper products earlier. I think that, the stock is completely oversold. So with a stop loss of 190, I would recommend a hold. And there are chances that, once this lockdown starts opening, which it has, people would start going to offices, paper consumption would definitely go up from here. So I think Huhtamaki is a fantastic company, fantastic fundamentals, and a great, company to have in a portfolio. So they can buy at these levels. It is absolutely low risk. So somebody wants to get a fresh, or if somebody is holding, so hold with a stop loss of 190. I don't see much damage from here.
All right, and with that, let's kickstart our rapid fire. The first one, I'm coming to you, Ashish. This one is from Rajat. Wants a technical view on Trident, looking to enter for 3 to 6 months. Should I buy it now?
Yes, Trident looks positive. The overall trend is up. One can initiate a buy for a target of around 72 levels and support lying around 56.
Quick view, Vijay, on Z Entertainment, bought at levels of 348 by Kasturi Ranjan from Chennai. He's asking whether to hold for the long term. There are a few negative pieces of news, not least of which the IndusInd insolvency.
Well, I think that, a lot has happened in Z, and with new shareholders coming in, I think that the overhang of the company going bankrupt or defunct the fears are completely allayed. So I would say just hold on with a stop loss of 250, and I think that Z Entertainment can come back.
Okay, Sapna wants a view on Hindustan Copper. What should she do? Ashi, do you think that makes sense to look at Hindustan Copper at current levels?
Yes, absolutely. It's breaking out the previous pivot high, which was somewhere around 140. It's just trading above that. I think there is a positive breakout. Volumes are picking up. So current levels, one can initiate buy for a target of 160, stop loss 120.
Specialty restaurants. This is a question coming in from Alma D'Souza. She's wondering whether to hold or to sell at this juncture. This one's for you, Ashish.
Specialty restaurant gave a very strong breakout above 110. One can hold, book partial profits at current levels and continue to trail, remaining with a stop loss of 110. And I think it can head towards the target of 130.
Okay, Mr. Bhatia wants to know what sort of an entry level can he look out for Tata Power. We did speak about Tata Power at length, but any idea what levels can he enter at, Vijay?
I think if the stock corrects, anything between 200 and 210 would be a good sweet spot to enter into the stock.
Okay, that brings us to the end of this round of rapid fire, and indeed to the end of the query segment today. For all those of you who've written in and whose messages I have not been able to read because there are so many, unfortunately we'll have to push it to tomorrow. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in and for taking the time for answering all the questions that you did answer. We're slipping into a short break. There's more on the other side, so do stay tuned.